asked on my Instagram and on the community tab here on YouTube what your assumptions are about the Enneagram or certain Enneagram types, and I have to say, some of them were dead wrong. So today, I'm gonna be reacting to and addressing your assumptions about the Enneagram. If you don't know who I am, hi, nice to meet you. My name is Abby. I am here to help you discover you through the lens of the Enneagram. If you wanna see more videos like this, it means so much to me if you subscribe to this channel. I put out new videos every single week. All right, let's jump into it. I wanna address this one first because I think it's the most important. Someone said 7 will be addicted to something. Enneagram 7s operate from a core motivation, a core desire to be fully satisfied in life, and I think that that core motivation inherently lends itself to addiction. So whether that be drugs and alcohol, reckless behavior, taking risks, gambling, all of those things I think can have, can kind of latch on to an Enneagram 7 who is out of alignment. I hope it's okay to say that. I just think that an Enneagram 7's core desires and fears do lend itself to a more addictive behavior. In fact, in The Road Back to You, Ian Cron and Suzanne Stabile say that 7 is the Enneagram number that is most prone to being addicted to something. Now, the key here is that we are talking about unhealthy type 7s. These are 7s that have traveled down the road of alignment. They are so out of alignment and misaligned. They are not living in their full potential. They avoid FOMO and boredom at all costs. They feel extreme anxiety about their place in the world and what they are doing to fill up the emptiness that they feel inside of them. They take risks. They don't put limitations or restrictions on themselves. I think that this kind of behavior is an inherent breeding ground for addiction. I'm sorry if I'm coming off hot on this one. Addiction runs in my family. I am familiar with it on an intimate level, and I do feel like it's important to talk about, and it's important to know that if you are struggling with these things, you are not alone, and there are resources that can help you be free. And yeah, so I just wanted to mention that off the bat. Of course, not all type 7s are addicted to something. I am just saying that your core motivations are more prone to addiction. So that is something that all type 7s should be aware of. Okay, this one says that if you have a love of learning or an intellectual side, you must be a 5. Or that all 5s are really intelligent. I think if I was filming with a type 5 right now, they would be saying correct and then turning off the camera, and that would be the end of the video. But in all seriousness, I think that type 5s have generally been stereotyped as studious bookworms and the Enneagram type that loves to learn, because that's the easiest way to personify their core motivations. And if you didn't know, their core motivation is to be capable, to be self-reliant, to be knowledgeable. So 5s do spend a lot of time feeding their minds. However, obviously, type 5s are not the only type who love learning. I'm a type 3 with a very strong wing 4, and I read all the time. College was my favorite. I love learning new things. I love Skillshare, and I'm a 3. All types have the ability to be curious and interested in the world of learning. Okay, so I just thought of a better way to phrase that, but each Enneagram type possesses the core motivations that drive them to want to explore the world more. This next assumption is, this isn't mine, but people always assume 3s work out all the time, and it bothers me. I think this assumption comes from the fact that type 3s are very image conscious. So naturally, you're gonna find image conscious people chasing a certain body type in the gym, but like anything, I think it's really important to note that this goes way deeper than just wanting toned abs and bulging biceps. Type 3s are in the heart triad, which means they operate out of their feelings and they long to have significance and identity. In order to be seen as worthy, type 3s feel like they need to change their image both internally and externally in order to meet the expectations of the people around them. They want to be seen as admirable and successful because they want other people to love them and see them as worthy of love. So naturally, that wanting to be seen as successful can translate into being very image conscious. That could look like dressing really trendy, changing your dialect to seem more intelligent, even changing parts of your personality, being like more silly and more charming, or being more serious and more studious based on what you think other people want to see from you. And yes, that could also look like going to the gym and trying to get the body type that you want other people to see you as. Okay, so I also received a range of assumptions about Enneagram Type 4s, so I thought I would address them all together. The first one is people assume that 4s always enjoy having a wide range of emotions. It's actually pretty exhausting. The assumption that all 4s like being special and want to be different, feeling different, and the inability to fit in is actually quite frustrating. And then this one says people assume Type 4s are just overreacting over the smallest things. I think the through line of these assumptions are that people don't realize how exhausting it is to be a Type 4. Type 4s are extremely self-aware and emotionally authentic. They don't try to shove stuff down. They face their feelings head on. Heck, they face other people's feelings head on too. They approach the world with an empathetic heart on their sleeve. Honestly, it's exhausting just talking about it. If you're a Type 4 and you're feeling exhausted and frustrated, I recommend taking the time to do some self-love and self-care. I just put out a YouTube video about self-love for Enneagram types, so I will link that right here and in the description. And my friend Christina from Instagram just put out this amazing self-care guide for all 9 Enneagram types. It's called Take Care of Your Type. I have already read about half of it, still working on it, but it is really good. It's one of my favorite Enneagram books that I've read so far, and I've read quite a few. So there's this whole section on self-care and love for Type 4s, the individualist, and I really recommend it. I will link this in the description down below as well. It's great. It would be really helpful. Next one, you can be a Type X at an age and a Type Y at another. Okay, this is super interesting, and I think it's something that I don't think I've ever addressed on this channel. Are our Enneagram types caused by nature or nurture? Let's talk about it. What I've been taught from Enneagram teachers and what I do believe is that we are hardwired to be inclined towards a certain Enneagram type. That's why me, my little sister, and my little brother all were raised in the same schools, the same house, the same parents, the same environment, and we all came out of that experience as different Enneagram types. I was actually talking to my mom on the phone about this lately because I have been reading Christina's book, and a lot of her self-care tips for Type 6 actually really resonate for me. So I've been thinking, am I a 6? Like, I know it's in my tri-type. I know I go there in my blind spot. Like, I know that I have a lot of 6 qualities. So I was just talking to my mom and she was like, honey, and she reminded me of this story when I was in 1st grade. There was like a drawing competition, and so you know, I'm not an artist at all, like at all. And I didn't win this drawing competition in 1st grade, and I remember feeling so upset, so unworthy of everything. I was just so competitive. I wanted to win that competition. And I honestly think like I am just a 3. I don't always want to be. I don't think anyone really wants to be their Enneagram type, but I am. I just am a 3. I think I was hardwired to be an Enneagram 3, to be honest. And while we're on the subject, I just want to warn you not to type your kids. General advice for all Enneagram things is not to type anyone. I know it can be tempting to type your kids, and you can in your head, but don't tell them about it. Like the best part of the Enneagram is discovering it for yourself, and it can be really harming to tell someone what their Enneagram type is without them doing the internal work first. Okay, here's another one about Type 9. I'm a Type 9, and for some reason, I'm in denial. I want to be a 7. I'm sure that's normal. I've honestly never heard any 9s tell me this. I've heard other people tell me they want to be Enneagram 9s, but look, I know it's tempting to not want to be the type that you are. I'm gonna tell you a secret right now. You're not supposed to love your type. You're not. When I read about the realities of being a Type 3, I am not super pleased. But the thing about the Enneagram is that when we're looking at it, we are seeing the best parts and the worst parts, and that is hard. It's going to be hard no matter what type you are. The Enneagram is hard work. But in terms of your specific longing of wanting to be a 7, I would look at that because Type 7 and Type 9s can get mistyped because they're both people-oriented, and they're both very optimistic. If you're confused about what you might be, I would definitely look into the interpersonal coping styles, because type 7s and type 9s react very differently to not getting their needs met. And also look at the centers of intelligence triad, because 9s are in the gut triad and 7s are in the head triad, and those are very different ways of dealing with the world. Here's another one about type 5s, and this is: an extroverted 5 is not a 5, and then this face. Okay, I've actually already addressed this assumption in a video that I will link right here, but if in the short form, there are extroverted type 5s, but they are a rare type of type 5s. You can find extroverted 5s when you look at subtypes. The social instinctual subtype is the most extroverted and outgoing of the 5 subtypes. The social instinct subtype means you lean towards people and you are very aware of how your attitude and actions affects other people. So extroverted type 5s do exist. There were also a couple of assumptions about me in the mix, so I'm just gonna address those right now. This one says, I think you are very ambitious, and I would say yes. I think as a 3, I do place a lot of importance in my days of working towards my goals, and I think working towards your goals is ambitious, I guess. The more I've gotten older and being married now, I have settled a little bit in my ambitions, and I'm a little bit more focused on inner peace and happiness and just being with my husband. So I think that has calmed down a little bit since maybe my high school, college days. But yes, I would say I'm very ambitious. Next, this girl says, you seem very chaotic. Which I thought was really funny, because I think that YouTube, people are always so shocked that when I say I'm an introvert, because when you watch someone on YouTube, they are on, right? Like, I just want you to know, like, I have to hype myself up to film these videos. I listen to Whitney Houston, I listen to Mamba, I listen to pump up music so that I can be on camera and be on. But I'm not like this all the time. However, there are days when I am very chaotic. So you may be, you may be on point, but generally I'm, a quiet, introverted, thinking reader, is what I am most days. But yeah, on filming days, I have to pump myself up and I have to get myself to be this person in this chair. And some days I can't do it and I have to sit it out and do it, say, you know what, I didn't film today and that's okay. I'll just do it tomorrow. Let me know what your assumptions about the Enneagram are, and I will address them in a future video. You can just put them down in the comments and I will use those next time I film an assumptions video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.